Have you ever been absolutely certain about something, only to discover it never actually existed the way you remembered? Entire groups of people insist that a movie scene, a product logo, or even a line from history happened exactly as they recall, yet the evidence points in the opposite direction. This unsettling mismatch between memory and reality is known as the Mandela Effect, and it challenges one of our most trusted faculties, our own recollection. The name comes from a strange case. Thousands of people around the world clearly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison during the 1980s. They recall news coverage, public mourning, even school lessons. But Mandela didn't die then. He was released in 1990 and became South Africa's president. The question is obvious. How can so many people remember something that never happened? Psychologists argue that memory is not a perfect recording, but a reconstruction. Each time we recall an event, our brains rebuild the scene from fragments, like pulling files from a corrupted hard drive. Tiny distortions creep in, and over time, they can grow into large-scale errors. But that only explains individual mistakes. Why would millions share the same false memory? One theory is social reinforcement. If enough people voice a memory, others adopt it unconsciously. Consider the famous quote, "Luke, I am your father." Nowhere in Star Wars is that line spoken. Darth Vader actually says, "No, I am your father." Yet the misquote has been repeated so widely it feels correct, as if the collective retelling has overwritten the original. Is this simple miscommunication, or is something deeper going on? Cognitive science suggests another mechanism, pattern completion. The brain is wired to recognize shapes, words, and events by filling in gaps. If a logo design or a film line should look or sound a certain way, our memory often edits it into place. The Monopoly Man, for example, is remembered with a monocle by many. He never had one, but because wealthy cartoon figures often do, the mind quietly supplies the missing detail. Still, these explanations raise a new puzzle. If memory errors are random, why do the same false memories emerge across so many people? Shouldn't mistakes scatter in different directions instead of converging on identical illusions? This convergence fuels more speculative theories that push beyond psychology. Some suggest parallel realities brushing against each other. In this view, when timelines shift or overlap, fragments of one reality bleed into another. People remember the version from the previous line of history, even though the evidence has changed. It sounds like science fiction, but quantum physics does acknowledge that particles exist in multiple states until observed. Could memory anomalies be a faint trace of that principle at a larger scale? Others propose a less exotic but equally unsettling idea, that digital archives and physical records are not as permanent as we believe. Textbooks get updated, logos evolve subtly, films are remastered. Over time, new generations inherit altered versions without realizing it. When an older memory surfaces, it collides with the updated artifact, and the gap feels uncanny. Which version is the truth? The one we remember, or the one currently documented? At this point, you might be wondering, are our memories lying to us, or is reality itself unstable? Before we get to the full conclusion, consider another striking example. Many recall the children's book series as the Berenstain Bears, but the actual name has always been the Berenstain Bears. The tiny change of one vowel has sparked endless debate, with some swearing they owned copies with the Stein spelling. Could thousands of families really misremember a childhood staple? Or was there once an alternate print run that mysteriously vanished? If this surprised you, wait until you hear what comes next, because the Mandela Effect isn't just about trivial details. It forces us to ask, how do we know our perception of history is correct at all? If crowds can be wrong about logos and movie lines, what about bigger events? Political decisions, cultural shifts, even scientific discoveries? The more we dig, the more fragile certainty begins to feel. Neurological research reveals that false memories can be deliberately implanted. Experiments have shown that with suggestive questioning, people can be convinced they were lost in a mall as children, an event that never occurred. Brain imaging even shows the same regions activate as if recalling a genuine experience. If individual memory can be altered so easily, collective memory may be just as vulnerable to distortion. Could mass culture itself act as a kind of suggestion experiment on a global scale? History gives us hints. Propaganda campaigns have long reshaped collective recollection, sometimes erasing entire figures from photographs or altering official timelines. In ancient Rome, disgraced emperors had their names chiseled out of stone monuments, leaving future generations confused about who ruled when. When modern people encounter gaps between what they remember and what records show, the dissonance feels eerie, but it may simply reflect the long tradition of memory manipulation. And yet, there's still the lingering problem. Not every Mandela Effect case can be explained by propaganda or suggestion. Some errors appear too spontaneous, too widespread, and too consistent across cultures. Why, for instance, do people on opposite sides of the world all misremember the same brand spellings? Could there be an underlying universal bias in the way the human brain stores and distorts information? Or is it possible that reality itself has mutable seams we don't yet understand? This leads to the most sober conclusion. The Mandela Effect demonstrates not that the world is unstable, but that memory is inherently untrustworthy. Our brains are pattern machines optimized for survival, not accuracy. They trade precision for speed, compressing and reshaping information so it feels coherent, even if it drifts from fact. When millions of people share the same bias, the illusion looks like an alternate universe, but it is, more likely, a mirror held up to the flaws of human cognition. So the next time you're certain of a memory, pause and ask, is it truly an anchor to reality, or just a story your brain has rehearsed into conviction? The unsettling truth is that both may be correct. Memory defines reality for us, even when it doesn't align with the evidence. And that is the paradox at the heart of the Mandela Effect. What do you think? Is this phenomenon just faulty recall, or does it hint at deeper cracks in our understanding of time and history? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you found this exploration intriguing, hit the like button to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of strange scientific puzzles. Share this video with someone who swears they remember it differently. You might spark a new debate. And keep watching, because the next theory might overturn what you thought you knew for sure.